The third time a customer grabbed her, Mere considered drowning him. It was an idle thought, the way a gardener might have pruned a weed or a painter covered a smudge. It would be a simple thing. A twitch of her fingers could have drawn the ale from his mouth into his lungs. Everyone would say it was a shame that Rhys had choked on his own tongue. But someone might realize how strange it was for a man to drown on dry land. It was that chance that stayed Mare's hand. That and killing him would be wrong, on principle. She yanked her arm free. "Rhys," she said, her voice icy, "I told you to wait. I'll have your order in a moment." Rhys gazed at her from across the bar. He slouched over his drink, eyes glazed. He had broken blood vessels at the corners of his nose, sunspots flecked along his cheeks, and a mean cunning in his eyes. Mere had known men like him before, dissatisfied with their lot in life, so they snarled at those who had little recourse. "I've been waiting for hours," he said. "You haven't finished your last drink yet," she replied, glancing down. Rhys followed her gaze, squinting at the tankard between his hands. The scythe and boot was always bustling during the evening hours. Many a crop cutter or traveller would stop by the tavern for a cup of ale and a bit of gossip before ambling home. Mere nimbly carried several drinks to a table of off-duty soldiers, keeping her head down and gaze averted. "Sorry for the wait," she said quietly. "Think nothing of it, lass." The one who spoke was a woman. She had the calloused hands of someone who'd spent years holding a sword. "You look as though you could use a cup yourself." Mere wiped the sweat from her brow with a forearm, then touched her fingers to her hair to make sure it was still in place. She kept her hair long, carefully arranged so that it covered the corner of her left eye. The air was thick with steam and the scent of lamb caul. It was served in chipped bowls, most of them scavenged from abandoned homes. More and more of those who lived near the borders of Gwaelod were fleeing, leaving behind that which they could not carry. "More for us," Caris had once said. She was a sturdy woman with thick forearms and hair cropped short. No one quite knew how she had managed to take ownership of the tavern, but none dared question her. Mere had arrived 3 months ago with only a few coins in her purse and blisters on her heel. She came to the Scythe and Boot looking to rent one of the upstairs rooms for a night. She'd stayed for 3 before Caris asked her if she had naught elsewhere to go, and when Mere couldn't answer, Caris pushed 2 full tankards of ale into Mere's hands and said, "Table in the far right corner." Mere had stayed. She served drinks and swept floors. Her pay wasn't much, but she was given an upstairs room as compensation. The Scythe and Boot had once been a barn, and the rough wooden walls were still studded with metal hooks for tack and hinges where stall doors had penned in animals. The place smelled of damp hay, and when the wind howled in from the west, the building made odd whistling sounds. But Mere liked it. The tavern felt like the closest thing she'd had to a home in years. Or it would have felt like a home, if not for the drunkards. Rhys reached for her a 4th time, and Mere ducked out of his grasp, resisting the urge to seize his wrist and bend it back. All right, she said, taking his tankard and carrying it to one of the full casks. She refilled it, then slid it back to him. Rhys gave her a watery glare. "'Bout time. You're paid to serve this swill." "Don't let Caris hear you say that," said Mere. She grabbed an old cloth rag and began wiping down the bar, her gaze sweeping across the tavern. There were the soldiers, a group of merchants, and 2 men dicing in the far corner. Everyone had food and drinks, and they looked content. She had a moment to catch her breath.